Welcome back to the MindGoals podcast hosted by yours truly, Siobhan Higgins, sport and performance psychology consultant, professional soccer player, yoga instructor, and soccer coach. The MindGoals podcast is a space that I hold for myself, athletes, and other athletic personnel so that we can converse and discuss our journey and how we acquired the mindset that we have today. All with the goal in mind that any viewers or listeners can gain something from our podcast and overall improve their mindset as well. Today, I'm super duper excited to invite one of my best friends on the show, a female professional soccer player, Katy Byrne.
Hi.
You should have said it in Finnish.
Moi.
Hello, moi.
Thank you for having me. I feel like this is long overdue.
Yeah.
Because it's been about a year and I live in Finland, so that's why I haven't been on yet.
Yeah, it's hard to track someone down when they're out of the country, let alone on a different continent.
And not the same doing it over Zoom or something, so.
Yeah, finally have you in person while you're in off season, about to go back. And
Yes.
for viewers to know, like, she's leaving in like 5 days. So finally got it down, our schedules are aligning, and I get to ask you all the things about your journey.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So the way that normally I start is obviously how we know each other. My first memory of you is from high school. We playing soccer together because Katie's a year younger than I am, a grade below.
Yeah, I think, so we played for the same club team as well growing up.
Okay.
So I think before high school, we knew of each other, but we didn't officially meet until we played for the same high school team.
Yes, there was like that underlying, I guess competitive nature, because we both played at Albion Hurricanes in Houston, and this is kind of funny, but they'll do like the year, U17 versus the U18, and we'll play each other, and so there was always like hatred.
Our teams would scrimmage a lot.
I know. I think our coaches just, I don't know, it was pretty competitive, but we would take it so seriously. Like you obviously want to beat the team above you, but you don't want to lose to the younger team.
Yeah, and for us, it was a really big deal because we were like, oh, we want to beat the older girls.
Yeah, and same with us and the girls above us.
Yeah.
But okay, you're right. Actually, that is how I kind of knew you. And then we became friends in high school. And then for viewers and listeners, Katie and I played together in Hungary. And that was pretty much random. It was, I guess, I wouldn't say like luck, but it was like just, what's the word I'm looking for? It was by chance that we were on the same team.
Yeah, so I remember I was there and the club needed like a striker. And you happened to be a striker, so it ended up working out.
Yeah, I got a phone call from someone. And I was like, wait a minute. I think one of my friends is on this team.
Yeah.
And I thought, hell, let's go.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's how we know each other basically from childhood. And yeah, now we just grew closer. Once you are on a team together, you either make it or you don't make it as friends, I think.
Yeah.
But that made our bond stronger, just kind of growing through those challenges, because times are tough out here in the world of professional soccer for women, like grinding through it to get to a team that you like and that feel comfortable on. So I'm excited to ask you about your journey, but I'm going to rewind a little so that people can get to know you a little better. So you are originally from Katy, Texas, correct?
Yep, from Katy, Texas. I'm Katy from Katy. It's spelled the same way.
Easy.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you obviously went to Seven Lakes High School, and then for college you played at Pepperdine in LA? No, Malibu.
In Malibu, yeah.
Very nice.
I was very lucky to get to live there for 4 years.
Yeah, the Zoe 101 campus.
Yeah, it was really
That's like
cool.
Starter, yeah, I bet. I love the beach, and I know you do too.
Yeah.
So, and the field, it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was like the most beautiful grass field that overlooks the ocean.
So
you can't
nice.
ask for better than that.
Yeah, and great academics as well. I heard
Yeah.
really great reputation. Also, I think I see them coming up in the tournament, or they did pretty well last season.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool school. And then would you start by, oh no, let me rewind again. Sorry. In high school, it's very common for people to play multiple sports. Katy played basketball and soccer very competitively up until high school, which is a little bit rare because normally people will drop off a couple sports by the time they're in middle school. And you probably also did like every sport under the sun growing up, right?
Yeah, so growing up, I did gymnastics, and I was a really serious gymnast for a while.
Oh, wow.
But with gymnastics, it gets to a point where at a pretty young age, they ask you to pick between sports because you have to really commit to be high level. And so I chose to continue playing soccer, basketball. I did swim team. Freshman year of high school, I ran cross country.
Yeah, I do remember that. Wow. Wait.
I'm probably even missing some sports.
Probably. Did you do track?
In middle school, I did track, but I didn't run track in high school.
Okay, but now, so in high school, your freshman year, you did basketball, soccer, and cross country?
3 sports, yeah.
That's
I was
crazy.
very busy. And then I did club soccer and I played AAU basketball as well.
That's insane.
My days were crazy. Freshman year of high school, I still remember I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning to go to cross country practice. Then on some days, I would go straight from cross country practice to morning basketball practice. And then I would have school all day. Then we would have soccer practice for high school after school. Then I would get a little break. I would eat. I would do my homework. And I would go to club soccer practice. So my schedule was like packed with sports. And then sophomore year, I did not continue cross country just because I wanted to focus on soccer and basketball. And then I'm not super sure. I don't remember which year I stopped playing basketball, but
junior year, I think.
I think junior year I decided to commit to soccer because I kind of decided I want to play college soccer. So let me put everything I have into this one sport. So that was a really hard decision for me just because basketball, it was like a really big part of my life growing up. I played AAU. I played at a high level. And yeah, I made varsity my sophomore year for basketball. But yeah, that was just a tough decision because I love playing the sport. I just think with soccer, I always knew I wanted to play professional sports.
Sports in general. You just didn't know which sport it was going to be?
I think when I was younger, I wasn't sure, like basketball, soccer. I always gravitated a little more towards soccer for some reason, though, even though, I don't know, it comes in waves. Like sometimes I was like, oh, like basketball is really fun right now. But I just committed to soccer because I think playing professional soccer was more realistic.
Why do you think that? Like a height thing or just in terms of more opportunities?
So I like played point guard when I played basketball. And I'm 5'5", so I'm not short, but for basketball, that's not, it's better to be tall usually. Not in all cases, but usually. And I guess it started to get into college recruiting as well. And I think I kind of realized, okay, I can go big D1 for soccer, but for basketball, I can play D1, but I'm not sure if I can play at a big D1. Which, of course, playing at a big D1 isn't like end all be all, but at the time that was really important to me.
I think that was same for me. My freshman year I didn't go to like a big D1 school, but it was a D1 school, and for me it was I'm gonna go to a D1 school, I'm not gonna go to other ones. And then looking back, I changed my mind. I actually transferred, but looking back, I would definitely advise an athlete to like find a school that you like for the school overall, the campus, people that you're already driving with, and then make your decision. Because
and I think like playing at the highest level you can possibly play at, I think that is very important because that opens doors like for playing professionally. If you're at a major D1 soccer program, that does open doors. But people do need to, I think, like take a step back and find the right fit for them as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good advice, because you're right. Most likely the coaches there and the coaching staff will have connections to go that path. Yeah. Okay, so before you went to college, you knew you wanted to play pro then. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was like outwardly saying it.
But it was always a goal of yours. Yeah,
just because, I don't know, growing up I never thought like, it was always like sports, soccer. Like for me it was always, I'm always going to be a soccer player. Like, what do you mean I'm not going to play professionally? Like, that was it for me, like mentally. So I don't think I was like saying it out loud, but I think for sure, like I knew I wanted to continue my career if possible.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, you did. You went on to do that. And so what did that journey look like for you post-college? Yeah.
So I graduated in 2019. And basically, the league in the U.S. is called the NWSL. And as you know, it's one of the like best leagues in the world that you can play for. I was not drafted, but I really wanted to like be in that league. I wanted to challenge myself. At Pepperdine, a few of my teammates were drafted. So I knew that I could play at that level. It was just a matter of kind of getting my foot in the door.
Yeah.
So post-college, I went to basically every open tryout you can possibly imagine for the NWSL teams. So many open tryouts. And I happened to, Portland ended up being interested in me. So Portland was interested, and there's this thing called a national team replacement contract. So what that is you're signed while the national team players are away at camp or at a tournament. You're under contract with the team. And then when they come back, then your contract is finished. So it's for like a couple months, I'd say. But out of college, I was with Portland, and I ended up like being a practice player with them for like the whole year, even when I was not on contract. So I trained with them for the year. And I think that was just a really like good experience and good for my growth, because at Portland, I'm training with some of like the best players who like I idolized growing up. So just seeing like that speed of play and like how players like conduct themselves on a day-to-day training basis, it was like a really big learning experience for me to like see basically, okay, how do I act as a professional athlete? What's the speed of play like? What's the standard like? So yeah, that's kind of how it started. But the open tryout process was also like a whole other mental thing in itself.
I was going to say, not to cut you off, because I went to a few open tryouts myself, but not really with any expectation, because I was kind of doing it just to do it, because that's what I was told, like, try, you'll never know. And also you can see who else you're competing against, and then you can see other teams and other coaches. So I would encourage people to go. It definitely helps if you know someone beforehand. So if you're going and they already know your name, otherwise you're showing up total blank slate, and you're just like, there's over 100 girls there usually. And then you're dealing with getting cut or getting a call back or getting a call to train. And even then, like, nothing's guaranteed and so forth. So this is just insight so other people can know. But for Katy, she said she went to a bunch. And I will say, like, your first one or two are like a little nerve wracking because it's a tryout.
Oh, yeah. So I would say that process was in a way similar to like the college recruiting process, where, like you said, like, it's good that if the coach knows you beforehand going in. So I was doing the whole thing, reaching out. Hi, my name's Katy Byrne. This is my playing background. I'm not sure if I had a highlight tape, but if I did have a highlight tape at the time, I was probably sending it to them as well. Just introducing myself, just letting you know I'll be at open tryouts. I'm super excited. Like, you know, like that type of thing. But it is nerve-wracking because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. An open tryout, some open tryouts I went to have hundreds of players, and it's massive, and some are invite only. So I guess there's a screening process for some of them, and it's like 30 girls, maybe 40 girls. Some are smaller, some have 20. The Portland open tryout at the time was a smaller, I think they screened like who was coming in beforehand. But yeah, you just have to really like have self-confidence there, because you walk up and there are a lot of really, really good players there, and you just have to have that like self-belief that this is possible for me. And also, like, I did, like, even though I got a yes, I got many no's as well, because at the professional level, like, it's not sometimes all to do with your talent. Things have to line up. Like, do they need your position? There's just certain things that have to line up for clubs to be able to sign somebody. So also not taking the no's too personally is really important, because at the end of the day, like professional soccer, it is a business. So you can't, when you get a no, you can't be like, oh my gosh, it's because I'm a bad player. You have to really know that you're good and just take the no. And if they give you any feedback, take the feedback, get better at what they said if they did say something, and just like move forward and continue and not give up. And I think for me, I was really persistent with it as well.
Yeah.
I like didn't give up, whereas I've seen players like get a no and like decide that that was it for them, which it's their personal journey, so to each their own. But for me, I was very much like, I am getting this national team replacement contract.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing what it takes. And I think just like, it does take a little bit of luck. Like I worked really, really hard for it and I did deserve it, but things aligned in a way where I got my chance and I took it. And even then, like going into Portland, you get the national team replacement contract. So it goes open tryouts. You don't get the national team replacement contract right away. You go in to train with a team. And usually it's a handful of players and not everyone's going to get a national team replacement contract.
Yeah.
So you're with the team is the next step. They see you, how you play at that level with the other players. So it's like a second tryout, like a second step. And that could last, it just depends. That could last a week. That could last a month. It just depends on like the situation and how much time there is. So then that's another like mini tryout.
It's like constant trying to prove yourself, because you're like, yes, you can never just like rest, because you get seen, then they let you come, and then they're like, okay, great, you can come to train. And you come to train, you got to try work for a contract. Then you get a contract, you're trying to work for an extension or to retain it. And then if say you actually become one of the full-time players, even then you can still be dropped like at any time back then.
And I think that's what I like about professional sports, because no matter if you're on a national team replacement contract, no matter if you're on a full contract, no matter if you're getting 90 minutes, 20 minutes, 0 minutes, like you're always proving yourself every single time. Yeah. So that's like, I don't know. I think that's really cool.
It is good because it helps players not be complacent. Otherwise, people are like, oh, I got it, I'm chilling, a 2-year deal, cool, I can kick back. And then they become complacent, and then you see the levels fluctuate. But when you're constantly working each day to like put food on the table, is like the quote, but that it helps. And so for you, you know it because you've been through many contracts, many tryouts and whatnot, but you made it.
Yeah. Yay.
Isn't it fun to say that? Or like
it's fun to look back on it, because like when I'm actually speaking about it, you go through your playing career and you don't like ever take a second to pause and look back on like all these things that you've experienced. And looking back is so funny, just because, like I did it. And also like on my first day at Portland too, this is like kind of a funny story, but I'm so nervous on my first, like literal first day walking in. So nervous. Like I remember someone was giving me a tour of the facility and I was meeting everyone. And as I was meeting people, my hand was like fully shaking. And they're like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And my voice was shaking too. But then obviously like that's like first day jitters, just because it's cool and it's like
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's
There's
exciting.
a lot of emotions going on.
But then you settle in, and like I think when we started training, then it was fine, because it's like, okay, now I can just play soccer, take a deep breath and just like show them what I can do.
Yeah. Wow. I remember that. It seems like it was so long ago, but at that time when you were with Portland, it was probably, what year was that? Was that 2019?
That was 2019, and then again briefly in 2022. I
do remember that.
Yeah.
But you and I experienced the COVID year. Let's talk about the COVID year, because I remember talking to you and we're kind of like, when are we going to play again? Where are we going to play? What's it going to look like? And that kind of sucked. But I guess the common ground is that everyone went through that. And so everyone was kind of on pause as well. But that kind of felt like a no for me at the time.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's crazy that I kind of forgot about this, I guess. I didn't forget about it, but like for me, COVID year in 2019, I was with Portland and I was staying there as a training player, trying to get a full contract for the next season. So 2020 comes along and COVID hits. And because of COVID in the NWSL everywhere around the world, not just the NWSL, but every club, they really had to like slim down their roster sizes and only keep like essential players just for like safety. So I got released when COVID hit, and I was just a training player trialing to get a full contract at the time. But my opportunity there ended, and it was a really hard situation for me in the moment because like the next step is, okay, I want to go play abroad. I want to get games because although Portland was such a good experience and I got to train with these players, I wasn't playing games. Mm-hmm. And so the next step is, okay, I want to go to Europe. I need to get game time. I need to get on the field, start building that game time, like playing resume. Yeah. And because of the timing of it all, clubs were not recruiting. Yeah. So it was about, I think almost a year that I was just training.
Yeah. Like and I guess didn't have an actual game. Yeah.
Didn't have just whatever training games I could find, but I was not signed with a club.
Right.
So that was kind of a difficult period, but even during that time, it never crossed my mind to stop playing. It was just like, okay, I'm going to continue training. We're going to get through this. I'm going to get a contract. And I'm really happy I had that mindset looking back because I think that COVID did cause a lot of players to end up retiring.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I pushed through that time period and I ended up getting a contract, and that's when we played in Hungary together.
Yeah. I was going to ask, did you have an agent at the time or was that through a contact?
So the Hungary opportunity was through a contact, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not completely sure.
Okay. Yeah. So similar situation. And now you do have an agent.
Yes.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And so Katy played in Hungary for I think it was like a half contract for us, like half a year.
6 months. Yeah.
6 months. Yeah. And after Hungary, where did you go? I'm like blanking out for a second.
The funny thing is, after Hungary, I got another national team replacement contract at Portland.
Oh.
So I went back to Portland. And the whole second time around, it was funny because I was like, hey, I'm back.
Yeah.
And that time it was just, I think 2 months. So 2 months, contract ended. And then same thing, contract at Portland ended. I want to go play in Europe. I want to get games abroad. So then the first club that offered a contract was in Finland. And I was like, yep, I don't know anything about Finland. I'm taking it. Let's go.
Oh my
Let's get out there. So I went to Finland kind of not knowing anything about the country at all. And that was... I arrived August of 2022.
2022.
And I've been playing in Finland ever since. And I love playing in Finland. I love the country. I love living there. So it's kind of funny going from hopping on a plane, I was really scared.
Dude, I cannot believe that you were there for 4 years. And we never thought you'd go to Europe.
4 years,
it's
3 years.
Okay. Well,
I guess same thing.
Yeah, but... Well, yeah, we're
since the end of 2022. Yeah.
Here I am trying to do my math. Well, we're in 25. Okay, yeah. So you're entering your third year.
Yes.
But we us talking. We never thought you'd go to Europe.
Yeah. No.
Or let alone stay there and build a life there.
Yeah. So for the longest time, I wanted to play in the U.S. Mm-hmm. But I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm really happy that. I branched out and I found a country in Finland that I really love playing there, love living there. I have really great friends there. And yeah.
Are you missing someone? Or you didn't want
to? Yeah. I also have a boyfriend there. So yeah.
Yeah. So I only brought that up because it's, if you guys knew Katy 4 years ago, Katy would have said, I'm never, I'm going to play in the U.S. no matter what. And her mindset changed. And that's okay for that to happen. It's okay for you to have a goal and, you know, reach that goal, or for it to change a little bit and now it looks a little different. But would you explain like kind of what made you change your mind?
I think at first it was just like, I need to play games. Okay. So yeah, the natural progression is, if I'm not getting games in the NWSL, if I'm not getting game time here, the only other solution is to go abroad. So at first I think it was out of like necessity, because I wanted to continue playing and I didn't want to stop my career. And then like now it is crazy looking back, because that was my mindset back then. And now like I would suggest to everyone to go play abroad for like at least a season. I think like it really helps you grow on field as a player, because there's different styles of play in Europe versus America, or even country to country, there's different styles of play. Definitely. And then I think like I'm just a prime example of like, you might end up loving it. Like you never know. Yeah. You never know what could happen. But yeah, being like an international player is also like, I've learned a lot from being an international player, and like now being in Finland, just because there's like a certain amount of pressure.
And wait, so for context for people listening, whenever you do go abroad, or whenever players come to the US, I think there's a certain allocated positions for foreign players because of like from a budget standpoint. And so it is more difficult for a US player to get a position somewhere else in the world. But we do have a good reputation that we are high profile players. So that's why a lot of us go to other countries. But with that being said, so you are one of the players on your team and have been for quite some time, and there's pressure because it's like, say there's only 3 spots, which I think in your case it is.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on the rules, but I'm pretty sure that in Finland you can have 3 non-EU players. Yeah. And so like getting contracts abroad, like I said, like I'm a center midfielder. I play the 10 attacking mid. My club needed a center midfielder. So everything like worked out. But sometimes it does come down to just like, do they need your position? Of course, you have to show up and you have to be good, because when I say there's like pressures as an international player to keep your contract and to continue to get re-signed as an international player, you have to show up and you have to bring something to the team that a player in that country is not already bringing. Because if they can find a player that is as good as you, or they feel that they are as good as you in that position, why would they spend the money to bring an international player when they have that already in their country? Exactly. So there's a big performance pressure for sure. And yeah, I'm trying to think.
No, it's fine, because I have a good follow-up question for that, because sometimes that type of performance pressure is debilitating for an athlete. But I think in your case, you used it to be a motivator. Like, instead of letting it not get to you, but like affect your performance negatively, you're kind of wear it as like a badge of honor. Like, I have this pressure. I'm being held to a different standard. What can I bring each day that's different?
Yeah, and I think with my background of like going to all the open tryouts, kind of, I always, like, I know I'm a good player. I have self-confidence. I know I work hard. I know I 100% prepare, and I don't doubt myself at all. I don't doubt my playing abilities. I feel I can play at the highest level, and I'm confident in that. But like with my background of going through the open tryouts and kind of always having to have a chip on my shoulder and be like, I am good enough. Yeah. Like, show up and prove I am good enough, and have to stand out in a way that really made coaches believe that I was good enough to take a chance on and to sign and to give me a shot. I think that background coming in as an international player has helped me, because I personally, like, I never feel like I can just, take a deep breath and like relax. I am relaxed into things, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's still
you
still have to perform.
No matter how long, like, I'll be at a club or if I'm at, like, it doesn't matter. I always feel I have to prove myself.
And that's good. And that's what keeps you, I guess, it keeps you competitive. Because otherwise, I don't, like, what motivation would there really be? If there's not that you're, like, on a chopping block, you know what I mean? But
no, but you are on a chopping block. Like, like,
not
beating around the bush at all. Like, if you're a professional player at all, you are always on the chopping block.
It's true.
Especially internationally, when there's only X amount of international spots. And like, something my agent told me that really kind of put things into perspective was, you need to figure out, as an international player, not just as an international player, as a player, you need to figure out, number one, what am I really good at? And what am I the best at? Like, what is one thing, whether it be small or big, that I bring to a team that's so specific that I can do better than anyone else? And you have to, like, figure that out for yourself, because if you can find the thing that you're the best at, you become valuable to a club. Because if no one's doing this one thing better than you are, like, you add value to yourself.
Yeah. What do you think your thing is?
Good question.
Are you you're not still figuring it out?
No. I think with me, what I'm really good at is creating in the final third, whether it be like scoring or creating opportunities for teammates. Like, something that's so niche that I'm good at is, as the 10, I find space in the upper pockets, which people might not know what that means, but the upper pocket is like the space between the back line and like the defensive midfielders. So I'm really good at finding space in the upper pocket, turning really efficiently, and like basically driving at back lines as fast as I possibly can, and then just making it happen. Like, when I'm playing, I always am thinking like, okay, get on the ball, get turned, start driving at people, and then from there my body just kind of takes over, and whatever happens, and usually something comes from it, but that's kind of my niche little thing.
Dude, I would definitely agree with that, because I remember, like, the first thing in high school, I was like, this girl is, like, not scared to take people on. And for a lot of athletes, I would say, like, a lot of girls in general, they don't like doing 1v1s. They don't like driving at defenders. And I'm trying to teach that with my youth players, because for defender, it's scary. You're like, oh shoot, they're coming at me. Like, I gotta, you have to react quickly. And a lot of people don't do that. And so it is rare, but to do it well. And then even if you're not scoring, like, you're at least slipping it through for a forward because you play the 10. So you're creating chances. And I remember to try out hearing, if you are an attacking player, you need to either be creating a chance or score or making the chance. So, and that doesn't make sense. You're either scoring and, like, completing the chance, or you're creating it. If you're not, you're kind of useless.
Yeah. And I guess where, like, the 1v1 ability came from is, growing up, I had a trainer, a really, really good trainer who I trained with from the time I was literally maybe 8 years old to the time I graduated high school. And even post high school, I continued to train a little bit when I would come back from college and stuff. And we did a lot of 1v1s just because they are so important. And, like, something she would always say is, like, what's the easiest way to beat a defender? And the answer to that is at speed. If you dribble at a defender as fast as you can, like, you have the momentum, and you're most likely gonna...
Yeah, if you do the move right, you catch them.
Yeah, obviously you got to keep the ball under control and all those things. But like, beating a defender at speed is, like, the most simple and effective way. So we did so many like 1v1. So I think because of that, I never had, like, anxiety with taking people on, because I just practiced it so much growing up.
Wow, that's good. Again, you practice it from a young age too, which, again, like, I didn't learn that till way later on, and I was like, oh great, we gotta do 1v1 again. And, like, I'm a forward, and I was like, okay, fine, well, I should feel better about this because I'm used to it. But one thing I was gonna mention and congratulate you on is that Katy actually won Midfielder of the Year this past year in Finland, which is a huge accolade. And then I don't know if you know, but how many goals and assists did you have this past season?
Thank you first. I believe I had 11 or 12 goals
Which is awesome.
And I had like 8, 9, or 10 assists. I don't remember the exact numbers, but
that's a banger of a season.
Thank you. Yeah. I would say this is for sure the best season that I've had. And like coming to Finland, something that playing in Finland has given me is like I said, before I played in Hungary, Finland, went to Europe, I was in the US like amongst some of the best players, and that's such a great experience, and I really did enjoy my time, but I wasn't playing. So over the period of time in Finland, I really have grown like as a player on the field, and I think this past season, like, I don't know, I just have a confidence, and I don't know if it's the fact that I'm getting older.
Experience weighs a lot, and then also you are a leader now, and maybe before you weren't because you're learning from other leaders, right? And now you are actually a captain. Is that correct? You've been a captain?
Yeah, last season. So our team had like 4 co-captains. So I was one of the captains.
Which also is like another big accolade, because coming onto a team that you're not even from that country, like that's a big deal. First, you have to earn your spot, you have to earn the respect, and then to be able to lead a team is like a really big deal.
Yeah, it's an honor. Yeah, for sure. I am really proud that I was in that like captains group, and then also like really proud of the award because like it's been a while since I won something, so that was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I know.
And like it was really cool too because the players vote. So the way it goes is the players vote, and your own teammates can't vote for I can't vote for my own team. Okay. So the players on the other teams voted for me.
Do coaches vote or no?
No, just players. Wow. So that was that's super cool special to me because I'm like, oh wow, like,
yeah, you're being recognized, which is always a great feeling.
Yeah, and like the other players who won awards too are like really great players, so it was cool to kind of get to go back to Finland and go to, they call it like the captain's ball, and go to that and just like be with all of those really good players. And it's funny because like I had conversations with some of them who we play against each other and we've never like had a conversation before, but I got to like kind of speak with them like a little bit, and it was a really cool experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, like maybe I should have started with this, but to talk more detail about your time in Finland and like about the experience. Well, first, are your training sessions run in English or in Finnish?
So it was an easier adjustment because most Finnish people do speak English.
Awesome.
They learn it in school. I think they also learn Swedish in school. But most Finnish people speak English or understand English.
Yeah.
So whenever the internationals are there, like our coach speaks in English. He gives the training session in English as well. Of course, they're speaking Finnish, like when they need to speak Finnish, but like there's not like a translation issue. And also something I'm really proud of is over time. Okay, I can speak a little.
Yeah.
I think I can speak a little. I can understand, like soccer-wise at training, I can understand like a good amount now.
Good, because I think this is so funny and like kind of corny, but people will say that soccer is universal because it's its own language. But when you're in a training drill and they're telling you specifics and you've never seen this drill before, you can only observe so much. And then you have to pick up on words. And I guess like I wouldn't know how to say pass or shoot or dribble or keep it or I don't know.
Yeah, and all my teammates will speak to me in English. Okay. But something that's funny is last season, my coach was speaking Finnish, like he was explaining something, and I like was able to word for word translate it.
Nice.
And everyone was just laughing because like I've come such a long way from not knowing any Finnish to now. I mean, I hope one day I'm fluent and can speak. That's the goal.
That would be so cool.
It's a very hard language to learn, but of course I want to be able to speak Finnish fluently badly. I
say you hop on Duolingo just for fun, for the vocab, and then maybe you make it your goal this year because there is a lot of like off time in playing. Like
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
which is another thing I'd like you to like walk us through is what does your day-to-day look like as a professional athlete?
Yeah, so day to day, there is a lot of downtime. So in Finland, training sessions are usually in the evenings or the late afternoons. So wake up, I basically like wake up, literally stretch, to be honest, take care of my body, do the like necessary things to take care of my body, take it slow, and then I get to training early to
How
prepare.
early?
Oh, you know me, I'm an early.
Trust me, I know.
I'm
Also,
an early person.
I'm also, do you know the story I'm about to tell? There was one freaking time where we were in Hungary and we would go to training together sometimes, but not all the time. And Katie's really big on her coffee. Like, so I never would drink coffee before practice or a game.
I wouldn't say I don't drink like that much coffee. I drink 2 cups a day, but everyone thinks that I'm drinking so much coffee just because I time my second cup of coffee to like I bring it to the locker room because that's like I don't drink energy drinks. So for me, that coffee is like it's like a routine.
It is your routine, yeah. And Katie is a big person of routine. And wait, I was going to say this one time we were going and I think I was like a minute or 2 late or I wasn't ready and she left me. You left me.
Yeah,
and
I'm not going to be late to training because of you.
I know. And then I wasn't late, but like Katie's like not going to take chances, which good for you. You shouldn't. But I was like, no way. I looked in your room and I was like, she freaking left me.
I will clarify, Siobhan was not late to training, but I'm just the type of person I like to be there like super early.
So don't take it personally, but I would call it quirky, but it's also like, it gets you. I mean,
listen, I've never been late in my life and I take pride in that. Do I need to maybe calm it down a little bit? Yeah. But
no, if it's working for you, it's working for you.
I'm a punctual person.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And she will leave you.
And you will get left if I think you're going to make me late.
Yeah. And she will have her coffee.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, back to your day. Stretch to the necessary thing, get to training early.
Get to training, and then just go through the whole, like we'll have a meeting before training, we'll train. Sometimes we'll have a meeting after training, we'll have weight room a couple times a week. And then for me, like I really enjoy coaching. So this past season, I also was helping coach some of the like youth girl teams in Finland.
How old are they?
One team that I was helping with, they were, I believe, 15, 16.
Oh, nice.
And the other team was younger, maybe like 12, 13. So sometimes after training, I would go coach as well, which I really enjoyed doing that.
Wow. Did you not feel too tired after training?
No, your schedule just kind of flipped because you can really sleep in because you have the time to sleep in. But then because we have training, then I coach and it's pretty late. Like you are staying up later just because you're getting home.
But your schedule is just different.
Yeah.
That's nice. Flip-flopped, if you will.
Yeah.
Than normal people.
Yeah. Normal, yeah.
Okay. And okay, what advice would you give to someone, an athlete who might be considering a contract in Finland? What do they have to take into consideration, or what would you advise them to pack or bring or not forget, or something they might miss or something they might be able to look forward to?
Well, Finland's cold.
How cold? I visited, for everyone to know. I visited Katy for like a week. It was pretty cold in April, but not too bad. Like 40 degrees.
And when you're in it, like, it's not that bad. You just dress for it. Like, you wear your winter coat, you wear your gloves. I wear like an ear thing at training sometimes because when your ears get cold, that's a whole nother thing. But also they have like indoor facilities that sometimes they'll train at, like in the coldest months. But yeah, warm clothes. But it's a beautiful country. Like, something that they do there that we do this in the U.S., but going to the sauna is like a really big thing there.
Yes.
And like, it's funny because in the US, there's saunas in like the gym. But in the US, people go into the sauna like fully clothed, socks, running shoes.
In the US, right?
Yeah, in the US. Yeah. Like socks, running shoes, fully clothed, like clothes. In Finland, you'll wear like, at a public sauna, I'll just wear like maybe spandex, sports bra, you know, but the kind of recovery part of it is you'll sauna in the winter and then you'll go cold plunge in the water.
Yeah.
And it's like icy, really cold water and you flip flop back and forth.
It's frigid. And I did that when I was there and it was.
And you came in the summer months too.
Yeah. And I could only get in the water like twice. And I would like, cause it's brutal. It's painful.
Yeah.
It like tingles.
I'm an ice bath girl though. So for me, this is like amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Cause I really love an ice bath.
I did forget that that's a huge part of the Finnish culture or just Scandinavian culture because they have, like for us, we have like swimming pools in our backyard. They have
saunas in their homes.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the apartments too.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool. So that's something that's really cool about Finland. And then summers are absolutely beautiful. Like I would say everyone should go to Finland in the summer. And if someone's like thinking of taking a contract in Finland, take the contract. Yeah. I'm like a salesperson. Like, take that contract to go to Finland. Yeah.
Yeah. You've had a really good experience.
Yeah, I have. I've been really lucky. I feel like sometimes players, when they go abroad, don't necessarily get to play in that place that they really fall in love with and have an amazing experience. And I've been lucky that Finland's been nothing but like positivity for me and like positivity off the field as well as like finding myself on the field as a player too. Yeah.
It's been really good for your career. It's been awesome. And you're just getting better and better.
It's been fun. Yeah. I feel like the crazy part is like even after like getting the Midfielder of the Year award, like I still feel that I have room to grow as a player. And the older I get, the more I'm like kind of nitpicking my performance, but in a good way. Like nitpicking, like, okay, if I tweak this little thing that I do, I'll be so much better. Or let's clean this up in the final third. Let's, like little things, like focusing more on the details.
Do you find these details or things to work on yourself? Or is this something pointed out to you by other people or coaches? And are you seeing this in film because you're watching it yourself?
I think all of it. I think that I'm a really self-aware player. Like I know my strengths. I know the areas in my game that I want to continue to improve on. So a lot of it does come from me just analyzing my own performance. But then, you do watch film. Like I'll talk with my coach. My coach will point something out sometimes and I'll be like, oh, I didn't notice that. Thank you. Like, yeah, let's fix that. Let's clean that up.
Isn't it crazy how much you notice by just watching film? I remember when I first started watching film in college, like I thought this is a funny thing. For the longest time, my parents were like, you're always walking on the field. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm running the whole time. I watched film. I was like, I am walking a lot. I was like, damn. Like and if I wasn't, I would have been quicker to get that ball or I would have been able to intercept this or something. Yeah. But it's something to notice. Like,
and something like so specific to that point is I think also I've always been a pretty fit player. Like I can run. But I think this past season realized there's even a whole nother level physically that I can reach. Like, okay, I'm playing a 90-minute game. Even if I'm in pain because I'm running hard, even if my legs are tired, even if I feel like I can't breathe, this past season, I really tried to push myself and be like, you can still run more. You can still be faster. You can still make that run. Like doing, like kind of focusing on making those like impactful plays more frequently during the 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the reason that sometimes players don't make those impactful runs that can lead to your teammate scoring or lead to creating a chance for yourself or something is because it takes a lot out of you. Like if you make a run forward, you have to be sure you can also get back.
Yeah.
And I think just pushing myself and making runs more frequently and like realizing like, okay, I'm in pain, but like pain as in like, running's hard pain.
Yeah.
But there's another level.
It's like another mental level. It's kind of like you can do it. You just need to tell yourself, like, you need to remind yourself constantly to make the run and to get back and like to push yourself.
Yeah. And
right?
I personally, I'm one of those people, I enjoy running. So for me, that like pain of running is like, I don't know. This sounds crazy, but that pain of running is like fun for me. Like, I'm like, let's see how far I can push it. Let's see, like, yes, let's try to make X amount of runs. Let's try to continue, like, you know.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Katie does this and pushes herself, and I think it's great. But I'm not going to say, but I do remember when I went to watch you play and you scored a banger, which was awesome. But
Thanks.
After a game of like Katie's the epitome of leaving it all on the field. Like, I don't think that you would be able to say there's a game where like you didn't try hard enough or you could have done more, because you truly leave it all on the field. Because I've seen you after games just like exhausted. I have pictures of you exhausted. I like the way you walk.
There is a photo like, after one of our games in Hungary of me just absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you leave it all on the field. I've never had problem with that. My whole life, I would say I was really good at pushing myself physically, mentally. But I think with age, what I've gotten better at is like the confidence of doing things on the field. Like when you're on the ball, like, let me try this. Like, let me try this move. Let me try this out. Let me see if it works. Instead of like being nervous that you're going to lose possession or you're going to mess up. The older I get, the more I'm like,
more creative.
I'm going to try it, because why not? The worst that happens is I lose possession. Then guess what? You work immediately to win possession back. Worst that happens is you get yelled at, and then
the worst that happens is that it leads to a goal.
True. The worst that happens is it leads to a goal, but I'm not taking risks like that
in that area
of the field. Like I'm talking like final third type of risks. Like, let me see if I can do this. And I think I'm just like enjoying it a lot. Like I'm really enjoying the game, because you train every player. Like we train so hard our whole lives that it doesn't make sense to get on the field and be so anxious and so nervous that you're not even using the things you're doing at training. Like that's kind of become my mindset. And I think that's why I had like such a good season last season, is because why would I work this hard? Why would I play soccer my whole life? Why would I put this much into it? Why am I practicing this skill at training over and over and over again to then get on the field and just be too scared to try it? Like, no, I'm going to go try everything. And like, sometimes if it works out too, it looks really cool and you're like, oh, that's sick.
And then it works and then you can do it again.
Yeah, then you just continue. Yeah.
That's so funny. I love it. I love hearing, like, I know that, like, obviously I've been your teammate before, but we haven't really had a discussion like this in a long time, because, I mean.
Yeah, I think because we're kind of like, we're very much on the same wavelength with things, and we do, for the viewers, we hang out a lot. Like we are like best friends outside of like soccer in this podcast. So yeah, we don't always like dive into like these types of topics.
Yeah, but it's really cool to see. It's cool to see your mindset shift, and like I think now you've been playing more seasons than I have, because I've been like in and out of it. Yeah. And I remember the time you were, when we were in Hungary, you were like, is this what Europe is like? And I was like, no, not always.
Yeah, because you had played in other places at that point, and Hungary was my first like taste of Europe.
And then you went to Finland, and Finland is just, at first it's a beautiful country. The people are so nice. Like the style of play is different, and there's so many positives to it. Yeah,
and something cool about being in Europe, like I've gotten to travel a lot while being out there too, like travel for fun. Like I've been, funny story is 2 seasons ago, I had a new roommate. Her name's Allie.
Oh, yeah.
And she became one of my really good friends. But we had a little break. We had like a 4-day break kind of towards the beginning of season. I forget why, but she had moved in. I had only known her for a week. And I was like, Allie, I really want to go to Paris. I was like, I'm going to go either way, like by myself.
With or without you.
But I really would like if you come to Paris with me. And she went to Paris with me. Barely, we didn't know each other, like less than a week. So that could have gone like really poorly, obviously, because we barely knew each other. But she ended up becoming like one of my really good friends, and just like the friendships that you make as well is like a big positive. Like some of my best friends are Finnish now, which is like, like you look back to 2019 me, like it is like I've come such a long way in like my mindset and my growth and like all of that.
Yeah. I was going to say, just to touch more on like the traveling, is that is obviously an option if you do choose to play in Europe, that you do have the weekend getaways sometimes if you're able to, and if like your coach allows that. But there are weeks at a time where you can just hop over to another country. It's kind of like going to another state.
Yeah.
And you've been to so you've been to France, you've been to Italy. What's that other country?
I went yeah, I'll get into that one. But I went to Norway last year as well.
Okay.
But so there's a country called Estonia.
Yes.
Right next to Finland. And it's quite a small country. And me and some of my teammates went to, it's called Parnu, Estonia. This was 2 seasons ago as well. And that was just for like a weekend trip. And never in my life would I ever think I would be going on vacation to Estonia.
Yeah.
But we went and it was like a beach town, such a beautiful place, such a beautiful country. And like, I would have never gotten to experience that or even thought to visit there, like if I hadn't played in Finland or like played in Europe.
Exactly.
So it's cool to also find those countries that maybe you wouldn't think to visit first, but ended up being like the best time ever. And we like rented an Airbnb and it was like a little like little cabin basically.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah,
and like these experiences are just so invaluable. Like you could never really like plan for it. It's just and the more like, just to get all corny about it, but the more beautiful thing about it is like you're literally doing what you love for work, so it doesn't feel like work. And then you get to explore, which who does not love traveling? I mean, being able to discover other countries and cultures and then just meet people along the way, see beautiful views, drink good coffee wherever.
Yes. Very good coffee.
Yeah. So as we conclude, normally what I like to do is I give the floor to the guests and I let them say whatever they want, whether that's like a quote or they give some more advice or they want to give a shout out or something. But if there's something that you feel like you need to get off your chest or give advice to somebody, the floor is yours.
I guess I would say like, for players, I mean, this might sound a little bit like corny as well, but like if you get told no, truly like don't take it personally. Like know your worth, know your value as a player and continue to play, continue to keep going, continue to like find those contracts and find a fit that fits you because it will come and you will find, you know, like I think like sometimes a certain player might not be a coach's like particular style. Like find a place where you are valued and where you can really grow. And if you get a no, don't take it personally, continue to move forward. And just like believe in all the work that you've put into your career because every professional player and every college player has put in so much work that people really need to like believe in themselves and trust that they've done everything they can. Yeah. And then truly like it'll fall in. I'm a big believer in like things will happen the way that they're meant to and that they'll fall into place. And that's so good because it's true. And it's so hard to see when you're in the moment. But obviously it's been like a little bit of time and you feel comfortable where you are. You're happy where you are. And it's like an I made it moment. I mean, yeah. So cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
I
thought I would be nervous, but it is just like having a conversation.
I was trying to tell you. Katie's like I joke, but I'm like, she's like my paranoid friend. But you're thinking.
I'm a private person.
Yeah, you're a private person, but also you're a big planner, and you think honestly to me, and maybe a happy medium would be, I don't know who this person exists, but I kind of forget the not important details, but I can forget questions that are important. And then you can think of way too many questions that are important. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Let's just meet in the middle. So that was what it was.
We did it. High five.
Yeah. Cheers. What is the word in Finnish for cheers?
Keepies.
Keepies. Okay.
And I'm saying that with my American accent and probably
Keepies. Okay. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight and for taking the time. I wish you the best of luck. And this pod is probably going to be the 1-year anniversary pod. Maybe I should have started with it,
Yeah.
but what a great way to conclude the episode with having my best friend on the show and celebrating 1 year and then sending you off to Finland.
Yay. Happy 1 year.
Happy one. Thank you. Thanks. And good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.